So today we'll be exploring one of the most visually satisfying applications of the definite integral, which is computing the volume of solids of revolution. So up until now, we've been using definite integrals to find areas under curves, essentially measuring flat two-dimensional regions. So today we take that a step further. So we're going to take a flat region, spin it around an axis, and calculate the volume of the three-dimensional solid it sweeps out. So under a curve, area can be represented using a thin rectangle, or what you call from the previous lesson, the vertical strip. Or if it's horizontal, then a horizontal strip. So if we're going to let this rotate around the x-axis, for example, so the rectangle sweeps out the shape of a circular disc, or essentially a cylinder, but it's very thin. Okay, a very thin cylinder. So the radius, the distance of the upper part of the vertical strip from the x-axis is the radius of the circular disc. And we use dx for the thickness of the vertical strip. So the volume of one thin disk is just the volume of a cylinder, which is area of the base. So for this one, the base is a circle, and then you are going to multiply that area by the thickness, or quote unquote the height of the cylinder. So if we're going to stack infinitely many of these thin disks from one point to another, let's say from this x value, which is -1, which we label A, and up to x equals 3, which we label B, then we get the total volume of the solid. Okay, it's shown here. So from -1 to +3. So this is the three-dimensional figure that is formed by rotating the given function, okay, the area or the region under this function, okay, about the axis of rotation, which is the x-axis. So the volume, therefore, of this solid of revolution is pi r squared, the area of the circular disc multiplied to the thickness, okay, dx for a vertical strip. So from A to B. Steps in doing circular disc method is first, you're going to identify the curve and sketch it, express the radius as a function of x or y, depending on the axis of rotation, and then set up and evaluate the integral. So the unit for volume is cubic units. For example, draw the region bounded by the given curves and find the volume and the region is rotated around the x-axis. So the curves are x plus y equals 8, x equals 0, and y equals 0. So let's start with locating some points on the first curve, which is a line. So it's x plus y equals 8. So as you can see, there's already a point here. So we need 2 points to form a line. So for the first is, so the first point, so we use an intercept. So if we are going to let x be equal to 0, we're solving for the y-intercept. So y is equal to 8. So it crosses the y-axis at y equals 8. And then for the x-intercept, so if y is 0, x is also 8. So the second point would be located on the x-axis. So we now connect the 2 points forming the line, and together with this line, so we have x equals 0 for the y-axis and y equals 0 for the x-axis to form the region that we're going to rotate around the x-axis. So you're going to write the expression for the radius of this vertical strip, and then we are going to set up the integral and evaluate it. So in circular disk method, we make sure that the strip lies on the axis of rotation, and the strip should be perpendicular with the axis of rotation. Because if not, then we do not use the volume of the thin disk in finding the volume of the solid of revolution. So we use other methods that will be discussed in the succeeding videos. So going back to this illustration, so if we're going to rotate this around the x-axis, so the region would be in two-dimensional context is a triangle, okay, extended on the fourth quadrant, forming another triangle. So it's basically a bigger triangle, and if it were going to rotate that, so it forms a cone. This is how the volume rotated around the x-axis looks like. Okay, it's a cone that is placed sideward. So the cross section is a circle. So we now set up the integral. So its volume is the integral of pi r squared, the area of the circle for the circular disk, and then multiplied by the thickness. So for a vertical strip, so the thickness is dx. So since pi is a constant, so we can place it outside. And then for the limits, so we have x as the variable of integration, so the limit should be x values. So the area is only from x equals 0 to x equals 8. So lower limit would be 0 and upper limit would be 8. So it's going to be pi times the integral of r. Okay, the radius is the distance of this point, the upper part point of the vertical strip, okay, from the x-axis. So basically the y function. So from the given equation, we can rewrite this as y is equal to 8 minus x. So the radius is 8 minus x. So we're going to raise it to the power of 2 times dx and evaluating from 0 to 8. So using simple substitution, we can let u be 8 minus x so that we don't need to expand the binomial and then integrate each term. So we can use simple substitution. So if it's 8 minus x for the u, then the u is negative dx. So we just need a neutralizing factor equal to -1. And then we either change the limits or solve. Okay, go back to the original variable x and then use the original limits 0 to 8. So if we opt to also change the limits, then at x equals 0, the lower limit solve for u. So u is 8 minus 0, or that's 8. And at the upper limit at x equals 8, u is 8 minus 8. or 0. So the new upper limit is 0. So it's going to be pi times 8 to 0, and 8 minus x becomes u. So it's u squared. And with the negative sign here for the neutralizing factor, so the x now becomes du, which is negative pi times u cubed over 3. Evaluate from 8 to 0. So just put the constants here and focus on u cubed. So it's 0 cubed minus 8 cubed. So that's negative times negative, so positive. So it's 8 cubed, or that's 64 times 8. 8 times 8 times 8. 512 pi over 3. Exactly 512 over 3 times pi. Okay, and then it's cubic units. So let's try a trigonometric function, y equals cosine of x, and we're going to rotate it around the x-axis, and the region or area is limited from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. So in trigonometric functions, so on the x-axis, we have the angles. So we are using radians here since the given x values are in radians. We start with 0, then pi over 4, or that's 45 degrees, and then pi over 2, or 90 degrees. And then to the left of the origin are the negative x values. So on the y-axis are the y values. So it's not necessary that the interval on the x-axis is the same as on the y-axis. Okay, because we're going to evaluate the cosine of these angles. So the highest possible value for y equals cosine of x is 1, and the lowest possible value is negative 1. So that's why we can reduce the interval to 0.25. So 0.25, 5.75, and then 1.0. So if we're going to plot some points, so we start with x equals 0. So y is 1 at cosine of 0 degrees. Okay, or in radians, cosine 0 is 1. And then for the next angle, okay, so for example, it's pi over 2. So pi over 2 is 90 degrees, so cosine is 0. And then for pi over 4, it's 45 degrees, so the square root of 2 over 2, or around 0.7. All right, and to the left of the y-axis, so we have negative pi over 4, it's negative 0.7, and for negative pi over 2, so it's 0. So we have now the 5 points complete from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. So we now trace the curve, okay, using smooth curve. So we start here. So the curve should be smooth. Do not draw pointed curves. Okay, so this is a part of a cosine function graph. So we're going to rotate this around the x-axis. So since we're using circular disc method and the axis of rotation is the x-axis, so we must use a vertical strip. Okay, same as the previous example, since there's only one function, so our radius would just be equal to y. okay, y of the given function, so meaning cosine of x, and then the thickness is dx. So we set up the integral, so we put pi outside, and then radius is y of the trigo function. So in terms of x, so that's cosine of x, quantity squared times dx, and we have negative pi over 2 to pi over 2 for the limits. So it's cosine squared of x. So using solvable groups of integrals, okay? Or actually you can use Wallis formula if the lower limit is 0, because it would be much short, okay? It's shorter compared to solvable groups if we will be using negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. So since our graph is symmetrical, okay, with respect to the y-axis, so negative pi over 2 to 0 is the same area as 0 to pi over 2. So we can just get 0 to pi over 2 and then just multiply it by 2. So the limits now would be 0 to pi over 2. And we stick with cosine squared of x dx. So it's 2 pi times using Wallis formula. So we start with 1, and then denominator is 2. And then since 2 is an even number, so the value of alpha is pi over 2. So meaning the final answer would be pi squared over 2, right? So we cancel the 2's here, so pi squared over 2 for the volume. So cubic units. Or in decimal form, that's 4.9348 cubic units. So we have the curve, and then if we're going to rotate it around the x-axis, so that's how it looks like. So here's an example wherein the axis of rotation is not the x or the y-axis. So it says here the region is rotated around x equals 2, which is a vertical line passing at the x-axis, x equals 2. So the given curves are x equals y squared, x equals 2, and y equals 0. So we start with the first curve. It's a parabola which opens sideward. So if we're going to write that in standard form, so that's y minus 0, quantity squared, and then that's x minus 0. So there are no y and constant terms, so therefore the vertex is located at 0, 0, and it opens to the right because the x term here is positive. So aside from the vertex, which is located here, we need to locate two more points. But this time, focus is not important. Okay, so because we have another curve limiting the area, so we'll use this. So we'll get the intersection points between the parabola and this line. So for the points of intersection, so we get the values of y at x equals 2. It's given already that x equals 2, so finding the y coordinates are more simple. So we have the parabola x equals y squared, so meaning we have two values of y for every value of x. So solving for y, it's positive and negative square root of x. Okay, so positive and negative square root of 2. Or in decimal form, that's approximately 1.4. So we have 2 points, 2 square root of 2, and 2 negative square root of 2. So let's plot that. So let's do 1.4, so approximately here, and then 2 negative 1.4. All right, and then so we're going to connect the points using a smooth curve, okay, not a triangular curve because it's a parabola. And then for the x equals 2, since it is also the axis of rotation, so let's draw it. Okay, so it's a line passing through the x-axis at x equals 2. So this is our axis of rotation. Okay, x equals 2 is our axis of rotation. And it's also bounded by a third curve, y equals 0, meaning the x-axis. So it's not the entire parabolic segment that we are going to rotate about x equals 2, but only this part here, okay, the upper part of the segment. Okay, so let's repeat that, assuming that this is already a straight line. So this is the area that we're going to rotate about the x-axis. Sorry, not x-axis, x equals 2. Okay, so since we have the y equals 0, limiting the region, so it's assuming that you're only considering the upper part of this whole area, okay, excluding this one. But if we remove y equals 0, then for sure we're going to include this area here, okay, and rotate it together with the upper part about x equals 2. All right, so we're going to draw a vertical strip or horizontal strip. Okay, take note that for a circular disc, so the strip must be perpendicular with the axis of rotation. So since the axis of rotation is vertical, so our strip must be horizontal. Okay, horizontal. So wait, I cannot see the tip of the pen. So replace it. Okay, a horizontal strip. So it is dy for its thickness, and for its radius, the radius of the circular disc, we're going to rotate it here. So this is the radius. So as you can see, the radius does not touch the y-axis, so it's not equal to x only. So which x are we going to use? Okay, there are two curves limiting the length of the strip. So therefore, we're going to use just in the previous lesson area between curves. So it's the difference between the x values of this curve on the right and this curve on the left. It's going to be x of the line minus x of the parabola. Okay, it's x sub r minus x sub l, or right value of x minus left value of x. Okay, for the radius of our circular disc. So we now set up the volume equation. So it's pi times the integral of r, which is x of the line minus x of the parabola quantity squared, and the thickness is dy. And since the variable is y, So we're going to use y values. So it starts with y equals 0, and we end with y equals square root of 2. So 0, 2, square root of 2. So plugging in the expressions for x sub l and x sub p. So we have x equals 2 for the line, and for the parabola, I'm going to solve, okay, for the, it's already in terms of y, okay, x is just equal to y squared, so no need to solve for the equivalent expression. So we're going to raise it to the power of 2 with y as the variable of integration. So we cannot use simple substitution here because if we are going to have this as du, then we need negative 2y dy for the du. And there's no y expression multiplied to this. Therefore, we don't have a choice. We're going to expand that. So it's 4 minus 4y plus y to the power of 4 dy. Right? So integrating, so we get 4y minus 4y squared. Okay, sorry. The middle term should be 4y squared. So if we're integrating it, so it becomes 4y cubed over 3, and then plus y to the power of 5 over 5, evaluating from 0 to 2, or square root of 2, sorry, square root of 2. So for the upper limit, we plug in the value of y, which is square root of 2. So minus 4 times square root of 2 quantity cube over 3 plus square root of 2 quantity raised to the power 5 over 5. And for the lower limit, the expression is just equal to 0. So we don't need to write that. So simplifying the radicals. So cube of square root of 2 is square root of 2 times square root of 2 square root of 2. So that's square root of 2 squared. So that's 2. And then plus 1 square root of 2. So that's 2 square root of 2. And then times 4. So 8 square root of 2 over 3. And for 5 square root of 2. So that's for 2 square root of 2. So that's 2. So times another 2 for another pair, so that's 4, and the last is a square root of 2, so 4 square root of 2 over 5. If you have a calculator, of course, you can just input this in this definite integral to the calculator and you'll get the value. And these are similar terms. Okay, they contain square root of 2, so let's combine them. So we get the LCD, which is 15. So 15 divided by 1 times 4 square root of 2. So that's 60 square root of 2. You can also factor out square root of 2 so that you don't have to write it 3 times. Okay. So minus for the second term. So that's 15 divided by 3 or 5 times 8. So that's 40 square root of 2 over 15, or you can just extend this fraction bar here, right? Minus 40, or no, sorry. Yeah, 40 days. 40 square root of 2, and for the last term, that's 15 divided by 5, 3 times 4. So that's 12 square root of 2. So that's 60 minus 40, 20 plus 12. So that's 32 square root of 2 over 15 times pi. So the volume is, so write the final answer here at the side. So that's 32 pi over 15 in cubic units. Since the site does not have an option to change the axis of rotation, so it's only limited to x-axis and y-axis. So I just placed the axis of rotation x equals 2 on the y-axis and just shifted the points to the left. Okay, so this is the original origin, the y-axis. Okay, so supposedly the points are here to the right. So I'm shifting all the points to the left. So this would be the x equals 2, the axis of rotation. So the vertex would be at negative 2, 0. Right? So if we're going to play the animation showing the volume, okay, created by rotating the area about x equals 2.